Hello all and welcome back. We are in F1 2020 again to jump back into the My Team career mode here as we are in between a couple of our league races now this season. So it's kind of an interesting ordeal going back and forth between 19 and 20, kind of getting a feel for it, but that's where we're at right now. But we are headed now to a new track on the calendar. We are headed out to the Hanoi circuit in Vietnam. So it took a little bit of time to kind of learn this one, get it dialed in, get a new setup for it, because not only have setups kind of changed in F1 2020, also, it's a brand new track. Have never had to set up for it before. So we'll see what we can do there. We're going to take a peek, see how our developments are going. I know we had one that was failed recently, so we may have to repurchase that, although right now we don't have a whole lot of cash or development points. So yeah, our major development in our aerodynamics is what failed. So we'll have to circle back around to that one. But right now, taking a peek at engine, kind of where 50% on the ICE, probably going to have to make a change for that fairly soon. Probably going to do it just do it now. Because once you're over 50% wear on engine components, you really start to lose effectiveness. But we picked up our first points of the season at our last race in Bahrain. So we're getting moving there. We'll see if we can pick up some more points here as we get ready to head off to qualifying. But now here we are, trackside in the motorhome, or so to speak. We've got our teammate Nick DeVries right across from us there, and we'll get ready to check our messages. It'll give us an indication whether. Luckily, they slap it right on the little top indicators there, so we still get our normal email that has the weather forecast and stuff and breaks it down bit by bit. But we will be looking at some dry sessions for both of them, so no rain, thankfully. You can see the interesting shape of the Hanoi circuit, some very long straights on a couple of weird little kind of bulbousy corners. But yeah, you see sunny at the start of qualifying, a little bit cloudy as it gets through it. Let's see if we can get another opportunity into Q2, see if we can continue a good run of qualifying here. But our first time visiting here, we'll see how the AI stacks up here, because the AI is faster and slower around different tracks, of course, compared to how we do. So we'll see how we stack up in qualifying here. So let's get out on the track. As we come out of the last turn, give you a little talk through down this short first DRS straight and into a pretty heavy braking zone right around the 100-meter board. Get it really turned in just a little deep there. We're out on the medium tires just as kind of a sighting lap, as I like to do. Long sweeping right-hander. You're going to kind of sweep your way to the outside and shift back down to get to the inside. Little chicane before you open up the DRS, and now we're the first time down this long straight, about half the length as we'll do on the next one. But we're going to find about the 100-meter board here. Get on the brakes hard, tight right-hander and a very tight left-hander. And now long sweeping left-hander. You kind of accelerate, brake, try and get the nose in so you can kind of straight line that chicane, because you're going to want to get the best run you can out of this straight. And now you see just a few little kinks here and there. About halfway down, you open up the DRS and continue to sweep, curving right through the speed trap, and then find about the 80-meter board kind of area into this tight hairpin. Now we're getting ready to head ourselves into Sector 3 here. Short little run as we cross the sector split. Hit the brakes right at the edge of the curbing there. Pitch it into that right-hander, and now through this kind of technical little section. Kind of carrying a lot of speed in these turns. Every one you go through gets a little bit longer. So now we're starting to have to bleed off a little bit of speed here, and now set ourselves up for this tight left-hander. And that is going to set us up for the final run. Just a little blip of the brakes, kind of pitch it towards the wall. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. It's a lot like Tabac at Monaco, coming out of the chicane there, where you kind of pitch it towards the wall and hope you understeer past it. And that's going to be your fastest route around to try and catch that curbing. But here we are jumping out for our second lap. We're sitting P19 at the moment off of that first run, but we'll do some soft tires, so that should definitely net us some lap time to improve on. So not too bad. We have already out-qualified our teammate while we were on the medium tire. We're going to have to start spending some of our hard-earned cash in developing our second driver for sure. See, already up about a half a second on our previous best and getting a pretty good run out of there. Now, not going to be a lot of opportunity to gain time here because even though we're on a quote-unquote faster, softer of a tire, in a straight line it doesn't matter. Softer tires are going to give you more speed in cornering and braking and acceleration, but once you're up to speed, obviously it's not going to make too much of a difference. But a decent exit, still hovering at about a half a second.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
Big improvement through there, and now this is where we're really going to get a lot of it because we can carry a lot more speed through this kind of winding S section on these softer tires. You can see that delta just opening up. We went from a half second to almost just over a full second through that little sector there. A little bit of a lockup into the second to last corner, and now flick it in, get towards the curbs, ride it out to the wall, and increase by about a second. You're sitting P15 at the moment, so we'll finish up our in lap and we'll see where we ended up on the grid. But 15 should get us through because the top 16 will make it through. If we stay 15th, we will be good to go. And we do make it and stay P15. We're about a second faster than our teammate Nick De Vries there, and we are just above Pierre Gasly and just a little bit behind Danny Kvyat in the two Alpha Tauris. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas making it through as well. But here we are for another instance of Q2. This time we're out on our first flying lap. We've got a Renault behind us using a little bit of slipstream. He's kind of racing us through this last sector here. He's in a faster car, so he's got better pace. So at his stage, we're essentially kind of holding him up. It looks like that might be Esteban Ocon there. New to the Renault seat for this season after a year's layoff outside of the F1 grid. We've already used our medium tires. One of the reasons I wanted to use the medium tires first for that sighting lap and set that just that one lap time on soft, give myself 2 sets of soft tires to play with in this second qualifying session. But as of right now, we're P16. We've definitely got to improve if we're going to move anywhere up on the grid. With about 45 seconds left in the session, we're going to go ahead and get our final flying lap started, see if we can improve. We've improved already big through the first couple of corners, so let's see if we can't carry that a little bit more throughout the rest of the session. Very close to going over the inside of the curb there and catching a track limits penalty and invalidating the lap time, but managed to keep those 2 tires on the right side of the curb and in the track limits. So flick it through. Yeah, we're already about a second up on our previous lap of a 38.159. The checkered flag finally waves for the session there. See where we're at on the split. P12 of Lance Stroll is a 108.035. We'll see what we're doing when we cross our split, how far off of that pace we are, because that'll give us an indication of how we're going to move. Kvyat 07. We're only half a tenth behind that, so we should have an opportunity to move ourselves up, but looking at getting close to about a second of improvement here. Just got to make a clean run through the last couple of corners. There's the pit exit shooting off on that third to last corner. You just kind of straight line it and chuck yourself into the pit lane. Hope for the best, but here we are. Lost a little bit of time through the last couple of corners. Still improved by about 3/4 of a second. And that's going to put us lucky number P13 once again. So seeming to qualify our car number a few times here, but Lewis Hamilton puts it on pole. Valtteri Bottas, the only one on the medium tire in Q2, so he'll be able, well, Lewis Hamilton doesn't put it on pole. He advances with the fastest time, but the important thing is Valtteri, the only one on the medium tire, able to run an alternate strategy.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Sainz, Ricciardo, Perez and Esteban Ocon, Norris, Stroll, Oldtimer and Kvyat, Gasly, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen and Roman Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Russell, De Vries and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Well, that's the idea, isn't it, Jeff? Well, it looks like we're going to be able to make a one-stop happen here. We've got a potential of maybe going one-stop softs onto mediums, but I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the soft onto hard strategy just to give us a little bit of extra margin, not have to baby the tires as much, and save a little bit of life there. Make a couple little adjustments to the fuel load here, but let's get out on the grid and get underway as the 5 red lights come up and get ready, and they drop off there. Get a decent initial launch there, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. Walls all around and a tight turn 1, so we're going to get on the brakes nice and early. We're going to find our own kind of lane here, tiptoe around the outside of turn 1 there, and take a little bump from Stroll as he's coming across. We're going to get up the inside here, try and pull ourselves alongside our teammate Nick De Vries. A little bit of a lockup causes the back end to snap out on us. And yellow flags ahead. There's been a bit of a crunch in front of us in the walls there. That's going to let our teammate right back through around the outside as we had to check up big to avoid a serious incident. Just checking for damage on those first couple of contacts. Stroll pitching it up the inside of us as we come down the end of that straight. We're going to stay to the inside of him, kind of squeeze him out just a little bit as we have the inside line, and that's going to allow us to slot in right behind our teammates. Slap on that overtake mode and grab some of this slipstream, see if we can't make our way past him here.
That start was okay. Now stay alert for threats.
10-4, Jeff, 10-4. So we're just going to have to kind of outbrake our teammate into the hairpin there. He's a little bit better on the late braking, but we've got the inside, just trundle our way around that very slow corner. Side by side, we're going to have to race him into the next corner. Let's see if we can't outbrake him this time. Leave him a little space on the apex, and that is going to get us through, as now it's the time to single file yourself through this section. No real passing opportunities through this little S section. The wall's very close, very dangerous, so you're going to want to just kind of slot yourself in and find your way around. But we are starting to pull back up on. It looks like Nick has taken some damage at some point here and is going to have to dive in. He might have been part of that initial bump into turn 1. There was a little bit of wing pieces I saw flying around. That might have been his, unfortunately. But not a bad start for us. We've picked up a position. We are up into P12 at the moment, having started P13. And now we've got to try and put our eyes forward onto this, the Renault of Lando Norris and the McLaren of Lando Norris and the Renault of Esteban Ocon. Let's see, no DRS enabled just yet. It's all purely going to be on the slipstream and the extra overtake engine modes there. But we are starting to get a little bit of breathing space from the racing point of Lance Stroll behind us, although I'm sure he is going to be able to close that gap up. That Racing Point is a pretty good competitor at this stage of the season. definitely quicker than us. We got a little bit of dirt on our front wing. It looks like teeniest bit of cracking and damage. Hopefully that's not going to affect us too much. Right on the front end plate there on the right. So far, the car doesn't feel bad, so no need to change it. And in the damage screen of the multifunction display, seems to say that the wing is all right. So cosmetic damage at most, or single-digit percentage of downforce lost. Not enough to make a difference for us. Not enough to justify an extra 6 seconds in the pit stop. But jumping ahead now, lap 5, still P12. We are still right up on Esteban Ocon there, but now we've got Stroll behind it. Ooh, big oversteer moment as we get ready to head down the back straight. So we're going to get overtake enabled. Stroll side by side with us.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
He's gotten a little biased. We can turn off the overtake mode. We're going to dip in, try and grab a little bit of slipstream. Turn it back on. Let's see if we can carry the speed around the outside there. But he's locked up a little bit coming in there. And not quite able to get alongside him just yet, but using that extra pull from that overtake mode, burning a lot of battery to get alongside of him. And he locks up again, but this time we're able to pitch it up the inside and secure that position back after the mistake earlier on. So no harm, no foul, aside from quite a bit of battery we had to use. So unfortunately, that also is going to cost us time to Esteban Ocon in front of us. You can see the front tires sliding around a little bit at this stage. Teeny bit of a lockup coming through that second to last corner. And now we've got the Racing Point and both the Alpha Tauris right up behind us. They're going to have DRS on us. Quite a train, actually, behind us. Good 7-8 cars in there. We are part of that lower midfield group. The midfield right now is kind of stratified into two groups, I'd say. You got the lower midfield, which is us, Williams, Haas, Alpha Tauri and Alfa Romeo. And then you've got McLaren, Renault, and Racing Point all kind of near each other. But here we are coming out of that back straight. This time we're going to be about as much of a sitting duck as you can because of the slipstream and the DRS, but we're going to turn up the engine mode. We're going to use as much of that slipstream as we can. Now we've got Danny Kvyat going down the inside. Ooh, Stroll early on the brakes. We switch it to the inside in the braking zone, and now we've got a little red warning light on our car there. We have our DRS is disabled at the moment. We have a fault in our rear wing system. Luckily, that fault is it's stuck closed rather than stuck open, because if it was stuck open, there's no way we'd be able to drive through this section of track. The back end would just flip off without that extra downforce. But that does mean that for the time being, if we are behind somebody heading into a DRS zone, we're not going to be able to open up that rear wing, and that's going to make our overtake chances much, much harder. You see that orange on the damage display there. Tires are starting to feel it a little bit too as we're getting towards lap 7 here.
Be aware we expect the grip
and Jeff's over there reading my mind, talking about us losing grip levels. But now at this stage of the race, I'm kind of managing fuel. I've got some extra fuel on board, so I'm starting to kind of try and use some of the rich mix on the straights, turn it down to the lean mixture in some of the corners to try and get a little bit of extra performance on the straight lines while still preserving some of that fuel. And it seems around this track to be something you can do pretty easily and not worry about. Kind of run almost neutral on your fuel consumption. But let's jump ahead a couple more laps. Not much going on in those laps. This is lap 11 now. We've been promoted up to P6 at the moment thanks to some pit stops. The early front runners coming in already, and you see us getting a little bit squirrely coming through here. So we have been called in to box, so we're going to go straight off the track here and into the pit lane, grab ourselves a new set of hard tires to go to the end of the race here. decently long pit lane. We're only 22 seconds in, just get into the end. And hey, look, the texture is actually loaded on our pit crew. That looked good.
Exit now.
Didn't even realize they had that kind of multicolor stripe on the helmet.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous
Now here's the
driving if
fun
you cross
pit
over the
exit, is
track.
that it opens, sets you right on the racing line that you normally drift out into. But we are just out ahead of Romain Grosjean and Pierre Gasly on track here. Just ahead of the Hasses there, but unfortunately with the DRS open, that's going to put us into a little bit of trouble. Plus, Grosjean is on that soft compounded tire. He will be making another pit stop, but he was going to be on a much faster tire than us. We, on the hard tires, are going to be going to the end. So at this stage of the race, it's going to be kind of about holding these guys up as much as possible. It's inevitable that a couple of them are probably going to be able to slip by us on that faster tire, but the more we can impact their race time while just kind of running our race time, the better chance it is that when they finally do get past us and then come into the pits, we will have a much better chance of re-overtaking them when they are in the pit lane there. You see Grosjean, bit of a lock up into the hairpin there as he was trying to close up and attack us, and that is going to allow us to defend that position fairly easily. And now flick in through this S section where that soft tire has a tremendous advantage over our hard tire, but they really aren't going to be able to use it because they can't get by us. The fact that it's just a single file line plus that dirty air, they're going to want to drop back a little bit too. But ooh, bit of a lockup for us. It's tough to kind of gauge the braking point for that second to last turn. That is just going to put us in danger once again from attack. You see that rear wing flip open as they come off of that corner carrying tons of speed. Now, once again, we're going to be using a fair bit of our overtake mode down these long straights, especially while we've got all these cars behind us. We want to make sure to, even though they're going to have a DRS advantage on us, try and build as much pace in the early stage of the straight to really not allow them to attack us too much, but not very tidy through that last couple of corners there. That's going to put Grosjean right up under our rear wing here as we get ready to hit the DRS zone. You see that wing flip open for him, and he's going up the inside of us. Now we've got the two Alpha Tauris also closing quickly, but we're still alongside into the braking zone. We might be able to just sort of try and fend him off. He's going to hang it out around the outside, battle back, and I think he might have just got us this time. There he is. Yeah, covers off the nose. We're going to try and switch to the inside, but that extra soft tire grip, and now just watch him disappear away from us. And you can see just how much we were able to kind of hold him up the last two laps on that soft tire, but he is going to absolutely just kind of run away with us. Away from us, huh? It's kind of romantic. Ooh, back end steps out a little bit on us. A little bit of a tap of the wall, but no more, no wing damage done to us, as it was just kind of the wheel rim on the back. And we're still managing to kind of hold on to Grosjean there. But it won't be too much longer before we lose out pace to him. But we do have DRS, so maybe we can catch him back up once again. Stay fairly close. You do see our battery is running fairly empty, only about 7% before we hit that braking zone. So we're really not going to be able to have a significantly prolonged attack on him, unfortunately. We are going to have to just kind of settle in, use a little bit of the overtake at the beginning of the straight just to kind of get the initial squirt of speed in there, but otherwise it's going to be down to fuel mix. And ooh, yellow flags ahead. I wonder what's causing that.
Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track.
Ooh, yeah, got a bit of a run on us, and oh, smoke ahead. Danny Rick, oh, the Renault is very slow. I was expecting him to be going a little bit quicker, but whew, we managed to dodge our way past him, but we've spun up the rear tires on the exit of that hairpin, and now Danny Kvyat along the inside of, or outside of us, rather. And we managed to just get down on the inside, but oof, big wobble there coming through the S section. and he is all over the back of us. And now you can see Grosjean already has opened up almost 2 full seconds after we were pretty close side by side. We did lose a fair bit of time having to dodge around the stricken Daniel Ricciardo, but that's the first retirement of today's session. That promotes us up there. But jumping ahead now, lap 20 on the race here. We're up into P10, just inside the points, as a few of those other cars that were on the soft tires have pitted away from us. But now we've got Esteban Ocon about 3.3 seconds up in front. Not really able to close much of a gap to him over the last few laps. We'll see if we can't see his tires fall off. He is on that quicker medium compound, but caution flags once again down the main straight.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
Have to keep an eye out for more smoke. So on the right, moving slowly, that's Carlos Sainz, the McLaren out. So now we are up P9 as we have our second non-finisher of the race. And thus far for us, been fairly lucky that both of the non-finishers were in the points ahead of us. If they didn't DNF, we'd be essentially running in P10 just barely at the moment. I think that promoted us up into P9. But we do have Lando Norris all over the backside of us in that other orange car. And he is much quicker than us on a faster tire and just a faster car in the development charts. So I doubt we're going to be able to hold him behind for very long, but that will drop us to P10. So very lucky timing of Carlos Sainz going out, because this would have cost us our position in the points. But now it's just going to be a matter of, I'm sure Lando's going to get by us fairly soon. It's going to be all about managing the gap on these hard tires to the pink racing point of Lance Stroll behind us. The first DRS zone, not quite enough for Lando to catch us there. We've managed to hold position for the moment, but I would be shocked if on the second DRS zone he isn't able to necessarily get by us. But you can see Esteban Ocon off in the distance there, but I don't think we're going to be able to close him up unless we can find a way to stay close to this McLaren, use some slipstream, and try and get pulled along. But you see him just kind of breezing by. We're going to try and fight back down the inside this time. Ooh, he has a big lockup. That's going to give us an opportunity to really get the nose around. And even though he sailed past us on the straight there, we're able to switch back as he goes to the racing line, dive up the inside, and be a little bit later and better on the brakes, and manage to take that position back from him, at least for now. So still at the moment holding P9, although with about 7 laps left to go, it's going to be quite a tall order to do that 7 more times and not lose that position for the rest of the race. And the other thing I want to do is I don't want to be fighting too much with him if he is going to make it past, because I don't want to lose too much time. As of right now, it's about a 7.3 second gap to Lance Stroll behind us, but he is on the medium tire on that faster compound. And so it could be an opportunity where he might just start reeling us in over the last few laps, especially as our hard tire that's been on for quite some time now starts to go off. We do have some extra fuel on board, so we're going to be able to use that rich mix on the straights pretty much the rest of the way to conserve some pretty decent straight line speed. But yeah, you see we've dropped to about just over 5 seconds back of Esteban Ocon now. So doesn't look like we're going to be reeling him in. And the other racing point of Perez, 16 seconds up the road, so you know that car has some pace as Lando's trying to find which way to go by me. He's able to get past me even before the DRS opens, so we're going to once again grab a bit of that toe down into the braking zone, but this time we're going to be a little too far back to actually attack him, and he's going to have just a little bit too much speed, so that is going to be us down into P10, and it'll just be trying to manage the gap the rest of the way. But here we are jumping ahead now on the final lap, heading down this long back straight one last time, and we've managed to keep Lance Stroll right around 5.5 seconds back of us. We had a couple little moments throughout, but nothing serious enough to really warrant showing. You can see Norris has run himself off to about almost 11 seconds out ahead of us, so he managed to take that pace forward, almost reeled in Esteban Ocon. It was within 3 seconds of him there. But now we just have to run through Sector 3 one last time. Ooh, but big lockup, and that was a bit of a mistake, and that's going to allow Stroll inside that 5-second mark, I think. But just about finishing up our first experience as we bump the wall, and now that time we've got wing damage. But luckily that was on the last lap. Just worn tires kind of got a little bit skittish on there and carried us a little out wide, but we're going to be nice and careful through the final corner for our first visit to the Vietnam circuit here in Hanoi.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the Vietnam Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
And hey, we're back to the original podium celebration. So we've seen 2 different podium celebrations in the 3 races so far. So they've at least added one. We'll see if there's any other ones, I'm sure, throughout the season. Any other exciting ones going on, but Ferrari on the top step again.
Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Some amazing talents out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to say Sebastian Vettel certainly caught my eye during today's race. Incredible driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, and so after a P8 in Bahrain last week, we managed to come P10 just inside the points and snag one more point for us. So that would put us on 5 for the season. But you can see, not based on our best lap, not a tremendous pace. Our one stop is definitely what helped us out. But you can see in the driver's standings, though, we've dropped a position down to 11th. And then as a team, we've dropped a position to Racing Point, who should be ahead of us. But we also just need to get our teammate trained up so he can also help start contributing to the points finishes as well.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy.
What fans, Claire? There's no fans.
Did you have the wrong fuel strategy today, or was it your management?
I mean, I just left it in the rich mix a little too long at the end, and I had such a gap that it didn't matter.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Oh, I'd say the aero package is really what the difference was. It's the best in the field.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Yeah, I'd say they're fairly happy. We've got 2 points, but we can't get complacent. We got to keep working, otherwise we might start going backwards.
Great. Well, that's everything.
No problem, Claire. I'll see you later. Alright, so let's see. We should be able to hit Acclaim level 5 here, which will unlock us another secondary sponsor slot. So we can start making a little bit more money and add some more names to our car. And I picked up the secondary bonus, and man, damage deductions. He had to get a whole new front wing. Why is he? I guess I'm the owner. I have to pay for all of it. I suppose that's fair, but we're up to a cool $1 million again. So we'll see if we can spend that on some development for cars and/or drivers around here. But first things first, we're going to slot in some of our activities. We have an invitational event, which I I will do, but we'll be skipping through. I won't be recording it. Let's see what's going to be the best. Probably that power equipment upgrade, because that one at least doesn't have any negatives. The power department focus one has a bunch of negatives. We'll see sponsors. We've got, what do we got? Another 5 days to work with there. So we'll do another 3-day one for the power department focus, and then we'll do some aero team building. Just kind of keep the crew all moving in the right direction. But we've got about 1,000 points in R&D points right now, and a nice $1 million in the bank. So first things first, we're gonna have to repurchase that failed aero upgrade. That's gonna eat about 500 points worth of that, so not great, and I don't think that's going to necessarily leave us enough resource points for any other upgrade. Oh, we can do an engine upgrade, so yeah, we'll try, especially since the ICE burned out so quickly, you know, only 2 races before it hit 50%, so we'll definitely have to put some energy into that. But yeah, 21% burned around the track this weekend. So that's going to be a focus. We're going to have to start putting some into durability. 57% on our event gearbox. We'll probably be able to make it one more event before having to take a grid penalty. There's no way it's making it all 6. Not a chance. But now that we've opened up that second secondary sponsor slot, let's see if we can find one that's going to pay us quite nicely. We're just going to sort it by the weekly income, see who's going to pay us consistently, and see if we can find a good bonus. But 10 points in a weekend. We're not quite there yet. Sorry, Aquita. Pay night, top 12, top 10. Choices. I kind of like the extra, like, just if stuff happens or if the AI is strong around a track, because we're still pretty much a borderline top 10 finishing team right now. So I think I'm going to go with pay night and go for the top 12. Yeah. Also, stuff I mine in Elite Dangerous and make a bunch of money off that. So
here, we can spend any extra money that you secured on perks. Each of these perks benefit both you and your current team. They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
Cool. And yeah, so I've got some money to play around with as far as developer or driver perks. So I'm going to throw one into the resource point generation. I had about 1 million, so going to see the more acclaim we can make quicker, the better, because then we can also start getting more sponsors faster down the road. So I'm going to throw in a little bit of credits into that, but we've got about 500 grand to play around with. We'll see if there's anything else we want to mess with, but we are definitely running a bit cash negative this race weekend. And now let's jump into the livery editor so we can slap our brand new sponsor on the car. We'll see, we've already haven't used that slot yet, so we'll go ahead and put him right on top of the airbox there, that sweet Paynite logo. We'll see, it also puts him right on the end plate there, so we'll keep the white text. That's been quite nice. Still liking the look of the car here. Might make a slight change later in the season. If anything, I might make some tweaks to the colors, because the orange is a little bit paler than I would have originally chosen. We'll take a sweet tour around the car before we get ready to head back around. But yeah, I might make that orange a little bit more vibrant, and then I think either later on down this season, or as kind of a special one-off, going to build one that helps incorporate some of that the white and green as well. That is part of our team's colors. Because right now I do like the black and orange combo. I didn't want to make a white-based car because there's already so many white cars on the grid. You know, Williams is mostly white, Alpha Tauri mostly white, Alfa Romeo mostly white, and Haas is back to a mostly white car. So even though white is kind of my team's primary color, I wanted to make the car black and use the white as my kind of sponsor color at this stage. And well, it just looks pretty good with the white wall Pirelli hard tires on there. I mean, F1 car looks good pretty much regardless. I'm pretty happy with how this livery has turned out. But let's go ahead and roll through the advancements.
As we continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. we can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Yeah, I already approached an additional sponsor, Carl. Thank you. It looks like our spark plug development has come through. That's great. And that is going to be kind of the last thing we're going to have to mess around with this weekend. But we are going to get set and ready to go to race 4 at Shanghai there. Hopefully these couple of development upgrades that have come in this off week will be able to be put to good use around the circuit. See if we can continue to have a decent run. 2 straight points finishes. Can't complain there. But we'll get ready for that. And I will catch you all a little bit later, guys. Take it easy. Peace.